Hi, welcome to the Cheap Skinks playthrough of Kingdom Death Monster Simulator, Episode 2. Um, this is the recovery after essentially I had to close the game out completely and restart it, but I was able to get back. All right, so there's Lucy, Zach, male. I'm just gonna put in notes here that he has +1 strength and hamstring. If you check his injury, obviously all of it is on his character sheet, but I'm just putting it there as a note. Alistair, male. Okay, so nothing else is there. Everything is good. I'm going to flip this back over because we're going to be going back to this. Okay. Shuffle back. Over to here. All right. So I've removed the injuries, I've added the names to the population sheet, and now we gain an endeavor. Endeavors are created energy accumulated from experience. Each returning survivor generates 1 endeavor. Use the endeavor tokens to track your endeavors. Any unspent endeavors are lost at the end of the settlement phase. So just gonna grab them real quick. All right. Yeah, so I was hoping I could pick all of these up at once. There we go. Okay, you gotta just highlight them one at a time and it'll work. So I'm gonna put my endeavors here just to keep track of it. So I should have been moving Ezra along, just using this as the marker for it. So update the timeline. So essentially, now what we would do is we're now on year 1. Okay. Settlement event, the first day. Find the first day settlement card event and place in the play area. The first day determines the population of settlement and is always played when a new settlement is created. Follow the rules and the results of your settlement. Follow the rules and record the results on your settlement record sheet. During sequential settlement phases, you will draw random settlement events from the deck. So for the first time, we get this first day 1. After that, we'll trigger the returning survivors. So this is this 4th one here. Then we would update death count, but we don't need to worry about that because nobody actually died for once. All right. So this is the event. I'm going to view the deck because I got to find a specific one. When we go to do this next time, we'll flip this thing over and shuffle it and randomly pull one out. All right. Flip it. So, first day settlement event. The first day settlement event will help you set up your settlement. It is the first event of any new campaign. The survivors wander drawn to blooming light in the distance, they find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep instinctual level, they know this area is safe and they make it their home. Roll a d10 to determine your starting population and record the results in the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for unnamed survivors. You may name any unnamed survivor and create a survival record at any time during the settlement phase. And then we would go to the first story event. Okay, so 1 to 3, 6, 4 to 6, 8, 7. We get 10. All right, I'm going to roll the white die. Why did I get up? Okay, I'm just going to keep changing seats. All right, we got a 4. So if we look back at this, 4 means we get 8. So in the middle. So we're actually at 12 because we have 4 already. So population, I'm going to write 12. And then I'm just going to go, since I put females first, I'm just going to say I got 4 unnamed female. And I got 4 unnamed male. Oops. Which will give me 6 and 6. So we're good. All right. Oops. I'm being bad about updating this. So we're actually on this. I'm not going to move the character anymore on it because obviously I'm not keeping up with it as well as I should. The next thing we do is we trigger the story event returning survivors. After the timeline is updated, we got first day, we did the first part of it, returning survivors, first story event, and proceed to returning survivors. So go to contents, and then if you notice in here, we have story events, and we're just looking for first day. Game over is when you lose everybody. Yay. Where's the first day? Apparently I am blind and I don't see the first day. So I'm just going to skip. Hopefully I think this is in alphabetical order. Game over. No, it is not. Returning survivors. Oh, man, that's why I'm blind. Okay, sorry. Returning survivors. Okay, first words. The nominated survivor steps forward and gains +1 courage. They lead the other survivors in learning to speak to one another. They discuss the situation, realizing they must hunt to live. Add the white lion to the quarry list of the settlement record sheet. The settlement gains the language innovation. Search the innovation card for language and place it face up in your play area and record it on your settlement. Language is your first innovation and will spark the creation of the innovation deck. Build the innovation deck now. Building the innovation deck. The innovation deck represents the potential culture and technological growth of your settlement. It will grow throughout the campaign as you gain new innovation cards. Find the 6 innovation cards with the language consequence listed under the title. This is Ammonia, Drums, Hovel, Inner Lantern, Paint, and Symposium. Shuffle these 6 cards together to form your settlement innovation deck. Place it face down on the designated space of your settlement board. The innovation deck is persistent. Make sure to preserve the unique combination of cards in your deck between sessions. Finish this and go to the finish their work. The settlement gathers around the glowing center. Glowing center, armed with language, the nominated survivors aptly named the glowing center their home, the Lantern Horde. Settlement gains the Lantern Horde settlement horde, not horn. Location, search the large settlement location cards for the Lantern Horde and place it face up in your play area. The Lantern Horde is the source of all innovation, and further locations in the settlement will develop. The nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde in awe, gains an understanding. They must skip the next hunt phase as they ponder the meaning of existence. Check off the skip hunt box of the survivor record sheet. They cannot be selected as a departing survivor. Okay, so first thing is I need to nominate a survivor. I'm going to nominate Zach. He'll get 1 courage and 1 understanding. Zach will probably not go out very much because, well, he's kind of hamstrung. All right. Oh, also he cannot use fighting arts, and he will be skipping this phase. This once per lifetime reroll, you only get this if you take a certain card to get it. So we'll find that out later. All right. I need the innovation deck. I'm just gonna put it off to the side. And I need the large Lantern Horde. This one, however, I'm gonna put next to my card for right now. This will get archived because it's not going to matter. Won't get to use it anymore. So in here, I'm going to view it at first because we need to pull out certain cards. We need to pull out ammonia. Drums. See, it's a language. Heart Flute Hovel. Inner Lantern is a language. Language itself. Paint is a language consequence. We pull it out. Records, romantic, sacrifice, scarification, science, sculpting, shrine, song, storytelling. Survival of the fittest is the one that allows you to get the once per reroll, and symposium. So we've extracted those. Dang it. Didn't want to mess with that just yet. I want to put this archived. I'm going to archive these because I don't need them for a while. All right. Oh. That's the card I need. deck. Yay. All right. Shuffle it. Okay. Language. All right. So I'm going to put it here so we can read it. Language increases the survival limit by 1, so I need to change the survival limit to 2. Unfortunately, because it's past when the returning survivors got there, the 3 that didn't spend it don't go to 2. We're limited at 1 at that point. But they also gain Encourage. All survivors gain the Encourage survival action, Encourage, once per round. If standing, spend 1 survival to call out to a non-deaf survivor. They stand if knocked down. See details in the rulebook. Okay, so we're now here. Flip this. We have the Lantern Horde. We can hunt the White Line. Language is listed here, but we need to change the survival limit to 2 now because we have the +1 limit from language. And we also have this card here. All right, so let's go back. I think this finishes us up. We got the Lantern Horde nominated. Has to skip the next hunt. He gets +1 understanding. Return to the first story to complete the settlement phase. All right. So we're now going back to contents. First settlement phase. I think next time I will grab my hard copy. I have this game, so I have a hard copy of this manual. So instead of having to flip around through here like this, I might grab the hard manual. So like certain pages, I can just go to it easier than flipping this way. All right, so we've done this. Update the death count. If any survivors perish during the first story, update the death count on the settlement record sheet by filling 1 unfilled box for each character that died. Go back over. Nobody died, so that stays at 0. Check the milestone. The first time the death count is updated on the settlement phase, it triggers a milestone story event, Principles of Death. This doesn't happen. The group will pick a principal face down once you complete the story event, get the corresponding principal card, and place it in the settlement board. So the next thing we do is development. During this step, the survivors spend their endeavors. Whenever an endeavor is indicated to build, innovate, craft gear, and join activities. When a settlement starts out, they can spend their endeavors at the Lantern Horde to build the new settlement locations. When an endeavor is spent, reduce the total number of endeavors by 1. If you can, spend 3 endeavors to build the Bonesmith, Organ Grinder, and Skinnery locations. If there are fewer than 3, choose which locations to build. Get these large locations cards from the box and place them below the settlement board. Essentially what this does is these allow you to build locations which allow you then to spend the resources that we got for killing the monster to, say, build armor or weapons or utility items, which we'll do that here shortly. If the settlement has a remaining endeavor, the player can choose how to spend it. If they build an organ grinder, a survivor may participate in augury by spending an endeavor and performing the rules. If this causes a new birth, principle of new life, they may also spend the remaining endeavor and 3 resources to innovate at the lantern resource. If they do, draw the top 2 cards. Oh, sorry. If you do the augury, you may get this new birth, principle, new life. We also have the love juice, which can allow us just to do that without having to spend an endeavor in doing the augury. They may also spend the remaining endeavor and 3 resources, 1 bone, 1 organ, 1 hide, to innovate at the Lantern Horde. If they do this, draw the top 2 cards of the innovation deck and choose 1. Add it to the settlement permanently. We can also craft gear. After we do that, we'll prepare departing survivors, figure out who's going to go out. All right, so right now, let's take a look at our innovations. I'm going to go ahead and spend the 3 to build the special items. So Skinnery is 1, organ grinder, and the bonesmith. So this gives you these locations. And if you look here at the lantern horn, it says, hey, you can spend an endeavor, lose one of each of these, and innovate. You can use an endeavor to build a bonesmith, use a endeavor to build a skinnery, use an endeavor to build an organ grinder. So I'm going to spend 3 of them real quick and to build the bonesmith, the skinnery, and the organ grinder. All right, so those all go back in the box. The bonesmith, we can spend a bone to get a bone dagger, a bone to get a bone blade, a bone and an organ to get an axe, a bone to get darts, 3 bone to get a bone club, 2 bone or a skull to get a skull helmet. These 2 we can't do unless you have ammonia. You could also spend a endeavor to build the weapon crafter. You need 3 bone and a hide to do that. Um, the organ grinder, we can spend an endeavor to make a stone nose, an organ to get fecal salve, 2 organs to get monster grease, 1 fresh acanthus to get dried acanthus. We don't have any acanthus, so we can't do that. An organ to get a lucky charm. If we had heat, we could do this. We don't have it. You could also spend an endeavor to augury, roll a d10. The survivor endeavors to glean the meaning of existence, roll on the table, add 1 to your roll if you have an understanding of 3 or higher. 1 to 3, lose a resource, gain an understanding. 4 to 7, gain a survival. 8 plus, you can do intimacy. We could also spend an endeavor to build the surgeon, but you got to use that also. The skinnery, we can use 1 of any type of hide to essentially get a headband. This is going to be armor for these locations, but you can get a headband, gloves, vest, pants, boots. So it's armor for your head, armor for your hands, armor for your chest, armor for your waist, and boots is for your leg. You could also spend 1 to get hide. If you had drums, you could get a rawhide drum for a bone and a hide. And if you had ammonia, you could get a bone and a hide. And you could also spend an endeavor to get leather working if you have 3 hide and an organ. So all I have though is what's here. So at the start, I don't have a whole lot of different things. I do have a nice selection of them though. So sometimes you draw things and you just get really bad draws. Probably the worst draw that you get at the beginning is if like these were all filled in with scrap. So like pieces of lantern that the monster had eaten. You know, the very first thing, you can't do anything with it. So it just kind of takes a space. All right. If I endeavor, I would use these 3 here, which would allow me to get 2 bone and a hide. So I could make 2 weapons and I'd have a testes left over. I'll use this to spawn an automatic intimacy. Try to increase my population. Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and spend this, and this. To innovate. So we draw the top 2 cards, and we get to choose which one we're going to use. Dang it. Okay, so Inner Lantern. Settlement finds light with all survivors gaining the Surge. Surge, once per turn, spend a survival, gain an immediate activation. So you could attack again, essentially. And then you would need to add all the Inner Lantern consequences to the innovation deck. Symposium, survival limit adds 1. When a survivor innovates, draw an additional 2 cards. So this makes it easier to innovate. So I'm going to go ahead and grab Symposium. I want to rotate this card. Okay. All right, so this one, I'm going to flip it. I'm just going to put it back into the innovation deck because I'm going to need to shuffle all these back up again. Unfortunately, since I innovated, I need to go back over to the innovation deck, which I stuck it back in the here. So we're going to go back to this innovation deck, view the deck. And essentially, any of them that are education, we need to, sorry, education symposium we need to take. So storytelling. So this is a drum consequence. We can ignore it. Inner Lantern consequence. If we had taken Inner Lantern, Shrine would go to it, but we didn't. So we're going to ignore that. Ignore, ignore, ignore. This is a consequence of education for storytelling, so we get to ignore that. Potteries, paint, hovel, symposium, nightmare training. So we take that one. Ammonia, home language consequence. Oops, I was supposed to add this to the deck. My mistake. Drums. Faith, science, lantern, family, ammonia, hovel. Okay. So these cards here are going to go in here. I'm going to take a look at this deck. View deck. I just want to make sure everything is supposed to be in here is hovel, education, symposium, yeah, language consequence, language consequence, language consequence, language consequence, language consequence. Okay. There should have been 6 languages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for hovel. I have the 6th one. That was symposium. All right, so I messed that up. I'll just shuffle it. It's not that big a deal. All right, so symposium adds +1 to survival limit. So the survival limit is now 3. We have the innovation symposium. Oh, cool. Oh, no. I thought it was filling it out for me. All right, well, this is not going to be Imposia since it won't let me edit the symposium. No big deal. I know what it is. All right. So this is all we have left. I'm going to go ahead and use the love juice. So I'm going to archive that, and we're going to go to intimacy. So intimacy. First time your settlement produces a birth to a new survivor, gain a +1 population from intimacy. Intimacy. Nominate one consenting male and one consenting female survivor and roll on the table below. Actually, we can just perform this. This is now automated. So, no active stone cloud campaign found. Hold on, give me a second. Where did my stone cloud go to? All right, give me a second. Worst case, I'll just roll and, there it is. Stone box. So this is the current one. So this should now work automatically. Settlement successfully uploaded to the stone cloud. Okay. But I lost my settlement sheet. Retrieve. Send that to inventory. Okay. All right, let's see if this works. Now if I go over to intimacy, I should be able to just, no male survivors found. What? Give me a second. Draw sheet. Female. Just gonna name this. She gets 1 survival because she just got named. Flip it. Okay, all my things here got wiped out. Okay, so give me a second. Why can't I? Why can't I update this now? Can't. Okay. Zach. Okay, apparently when I put this on the storm cloud, it kind of messed things up. Ohana add. It's kind of messed everything up. All right. Wait a second. Did I pull new sheets? Well, this is going to be fun. All right. All because I wanted to try to use this automated. No female survivor found. What? Ohana is not male. Ohana is female. One survival. I think this generated like new sheets. Okay. Man, just because I wanted to get this thing to be automated. Did it do it? Put those down over here. Let's go back over to here. Okay, they got added, but all right, it doesn't look like intimacy got handled yet. I'm supposed to be able to just, okay, I got to fill in the names. Okay. 6. A new survivor is brought kicking and a new survivor is brought kicking and screaming into the world. The child's eyes are free of ink that stain the founders' faces. The settlement gains +1 population. I will go through, and after we get the settlement phase finished, I'll go back through and create all these sheets and get the stone working. It looks like it's some additional bookkeeping that I'll need to do. Principle New Life. So now we need to decide if we're going to go with Without Mercy or with Affection. So Without Mercy, toys are taken away. You go with Survival of the Fittest, or we go with Protect the Young. Excuse me. So for this time, I'm going to go Without Mercy so we can get the re-rolls. We'll do it a little bit differently. Toys are taken from the child and replaced with a cold stone face shard. Training begins immediately. The settlement gains the new life principle, Survival of the Fittest. Find and place the card on the settlement board and note it in the settlement record sheet. After adding the card to the settlement, roll 1d10. 1 to 5, settlement celebrates with a party. Parents gain +1 strength and 2 insanity. They must skip the next hunt to recover. 6 to 10, the child is raised a pure warrior, gain all this stuff. So this adds another survival limit +1 to it, and then all current and newborn survivors gain +1 strength and +1 evasion. Once per lifetime, a survivor may re-roll a single roll result. You have to keep that roll, and it also has to be a roll that's applicable to that survivor. So say Zach had already used his re-roll, and Zach is going to get his head ripped off by the lion. Ohana couldn't use her re-roll to try to save Zach. And we got a 9. The child is raised a pure warrior, leaving compassion and fear behind. The newborn survivor gains 2 courage and the tough fighting art and quixotic disorder. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Okay. So let's check the record sheet. I have a new survivor listed, which I just got the sheet for the new survivor. Oh, cool. They already filled out the toughness and quixotic stuff for him and put in the 2 courage. So I'll leave him as male. Call this Alun. Alun. He gets 1 survival. Not a survival, 1 survival. I pushed A instead of 1. That's why I said that. I do not check the reroll used yet or fill anything there, so we'll leave that as is for right now. Neither Zach nor oh no, that was if I rolled a 1 through 5. They get drunk and do their thing. Okay, so the love juice got used, which I've already marked off. So right now I have 1 hide, 2 bones, and 1 organ. So let's pull out the crafting cards. Skinnery. Organ grinder. And bonesmith. So remember, these are the options I can do. I use this endeavor to innovate, so I don't have that. Okay, so on the organ grinder, I can use 1 organ to make a fecal salve. So let's take a look and see what that does. I can look at these. Dried acanthus, yeah, need the fresh to get that. So when you depart, gain a survival. You are not a threat until you attack. If you have the priority token, remove it. Oh, sorry. Spend an action and become not a threat. This is considered a balm and stinky. Because, well, it's poop. The lucky charm, if you have 2 complete blue squares, then you get +1 luck. So you would need a blue to match here and a blue to match here. So you could take the fecal salve, and if you stuck it on the right, that would give you 1 blue completed. But you got to have both of them, and you get +1 luck. Monster grease, you gain 1 evasion, and if you have 3 greens, you gain another evasion. That's going to take a while. Strange nose, so this is kind of how you can build some. I said strange nose, it's stone nose. You can burn endeavors to get these, and these are good because on arrival you gain a survival and an insanity. Arrival is at the start of the showdown. So I can use the testes to make a fecal salve. We'll hold off on that for the moment because we could also use for 1 bone we can make a dagger, a blade, darts. With the bone axe, we need a bone and an organ. So instead of making the fecal, we could use, say, these 2 and make an axe. So let's take a look at the bone smithing view deck. So bone axe is you roll 2 dice, you hit on a 6 or better, and it adds 3. It's a melee axe bone. It's frail. It's also savage. Once per attack, if you critically wound, cause an additional wound. This effect does not apply to impervious hit locations. So this takes, again, a bone and a hide. A bone blade is 2 dice. It hits on a 6 or better. You only get to add 2 strength. It's also frail. Frail, when you attempt to wound a super dense hit location, this weapon breaks. Archive the card at the end of this attack. Bone club, I need 3 bones, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Bone dagger is 3 speed, so you roll 3 dice to hit. You hit on a 7 or better, it adds 1, and on a perfect hit, you gain a survival. Attack roll with a result of 10. Darts are ranged, so you can throw them. They have a range of 6, and you roll 1 dice. You hit on a 7, they add 3 to hit. And same with the frail, but they have a range of 6 so that you can use them. Pickaxe and scythe, we don't need to worry about. Skull helmet, I need 3 bone for this, or 2 bone or a skull, so I don't need to worry about this. When you suffer a severe head injury, the skull helm is destroyed. So to kind of mix things up, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an axe, and I'm going to make a dart. Dart to give me a ranged weapon. So one of these, and one of those. I'm just going to put them down here because they're not actually assigned to a character at this moment. But that means I used up this, and that. And all of these get archived. I'm going to archive the organ grindery because I can't make anything with them anymore. And I'm going to archive the bonesmith because I can't do anything with it anymore. I still have the hide. I can save it for next turn, but I'm going to make some kind of armor out of it or bandage. I'll probably make armor. So all of these just take 1 hide. So the only thing I can't do is the drum and the whip. So we'll go back to here, view it. So bandages, spend an action, remove 2 bleed tokens from yourself or an adjacent survivor. Yeah, I had 1 character almost pass out from that, but I'm not going to do anything with it. Rawhide boots, you have 1 armor to your feet, and when you depart, you get a survival. Drum, I can't do anything with. Gloves, when you depart, gain a survival. Rawhide headband, I can spend an action, reveal the top 2 AI cards, and place them back on the deck in any order I desire. Pants, just give you a waist armor. Rawhide vest doesn't do anything special. But if you fill in the blue and the red, so you'd have to have something to match it, you get +1 evasion. I think, oh, the whip we can't build. I think I'm going to build the rawhide headband just to give 1 character an armor point to their head. And also this will let them spend their action. And we can look at the AI deck. So we'll build that. I probably should build the gloves and get the survivor, but we'll start off with this. Just because the head is easy to damage. Okay. And then all of this gear here, these separate items will also be able to be used. And then keep in mind, oh, that doesn't matter, but because we got the innovation card, or conviction card, sorry. Survival of the fittest. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this card is when rolling on enemies intimacy, we roll twice and get the lowest result. All current and newborn survivors get 1 strength and 1 evasion, though. So we'll get 1 strength and 1 evasion on all our characters. And I'm going to keep this card out. So let's flip this back over and we'll fill it in. So I have language and I have symposium. Don't know why this is listed as symposia. Okay, now it's fixed. Ah, okay, good. So that now works. Tab, hide that. My survival is now 4 for the survival limit, 1 for the base, 1 for language, 1 for symposium, and 1 for survival of the fittest. So this goes to a 4. Death count is still 0. And we can see that survival limit 1, survival limit 1, survival limit 1. So all 3 of these plus the starting one were to 4, but that's the limit. So that's the most you can have. It's not what we currently have. Unfortunately, the best we have on any character is 1 right now. Okay. Go to contents. And we're back to the first story. Okay, so next thing we do is we've craft gear. We've already crafted our gear. That's part of the development phase. Next thing we do is prepare departing survivors. If you plan to continue, choose a monster from the quarry list. We only have 1 monster, so it'll be a white lion. And decide which survivor will set off to hunt it. After the first story, only the white lion is available. More monsters will be added to the quarry list throughout the story. So that's something that'll be pretty obvious when it happens. Any eligible returning survivors may become departing survivors, or the player may pull new survivors from the settlement population. To do this, get a new survivor record and create the survivor, add their name to settlement population list, place any gear the settlement has acquired in the departing survivor's gear list, and update each survivor's armor points at the location to reflect the gear, award any bonuses from gear and innovations. Skip step 9, which is the special showdowns. Record and archive resources if you had any extra resources. We don't have any. We spent everything, which the first couple of turns you kind of spend everything unless you have scrap, and then you have to archive it because you can't do anything with it. And then the end of the beginning, clean up the play area and get ready for the next thing, which will be the hunt phase, where we'll be hunting the monster. Okay. So I'm going to offline clean up, get record sheets prepped up for the characters that are departing. Departing characters in this case will be Ezra, Lucy, Alistair, and random male character number 1. which since my thing is Old Joe, we'll call it Joe. But I'll need to take care of all of that. So thank you for joining me for a short session. Short session, still about an hour. Um, I'll get everything set up for that, and then we'll do another session later of the hunt phase and showdown. All right. So thank you again for joining me, and we'll see what happens next time. Thank you. Bye.